Do you like comic books, video games, movies, and television? Are you way more interested in fictional superheroes than actual human beings or real life? Do you like listening to people discuss these topics for roughly an hour or two at a time?
Well, if you liked when this asshole did it alone, you're gonna love me.
This is the intro to our podcast, in it. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bat in the Hat podcast, hosted by me, Tony Stark, and yes, I am Iron Man. With me, as always, is Matt. Just Matt. What's up, Matt?
I understood that reference.
Did you get it?
I did. Did you get mine? Mine was one too.
What was yours?
Captain America. I got that reference.
We are truly fans of this
let's just
comic
move
book
let's
medium.
Move forward now.
Oh my goodness!
It's good to see you though, man.
Yeah, man. It's been we had a little bye week, so we took about 2 weeks off, and not two, technically 2 weeks in between shows, but
you're defining a bye week. So
yeah, we only it is a bye week, so
idiot.
I'm an idiot. So we wanted to do the Endgame episode, and we were going to do it a week after the premiere, in which you got to see it premiere weekend. I saw it the Thursday after.
I feel like it's been a month plus since I've seen it. I don't remember what it's about. I don't even know what the Avengers are.
Don't worry, I'd be happy to fill you in.
I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been able to stop replaying this movie in my head over and over and over since I left that
Is
theater.
this the one where Superman comes back?
Yeah, this is the one where Batman almost kills. They find out both their mother's name was Martha.
The Watchmen.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I got it.
I'm
kidding. I can't wait. I'm so excited to talk about it.
Poor Alan Moore.
Endgame.
But Avengers Endgame. That's going to be the topic of discussion today. It's been 2 weeks now, so by the time this episode is premiering, because this is we're filming this on the 9th, which also happens to be a certain host's birthday. Yes, I'll wait for the applause. Now, by the time it actually goes out, it'll be the following Monday, which is when the Russo brothers officially lifted the ban on spoilers. And if we don't just go by the Russo brothers' rules, then we're no better than savages.
Yeah. Well, a couple things. Happy birthday, man. I genuinely mean that. But that's enough of that. Now I'm going back to my cynical self. Yeah, the Russos, man. It's funny you said that too, because I won't go too into it, but there's certain aspects of the film that certain people are like, that didn't really make sense. I'm like, the Russos don't have to hold your hand anymore. They've given us gold. They can do whatever they want. Just let it be.
I will say, and I think that's going to be most of our discussion today, because there is a lot of that bickering. Like, there's this plot hole, and then this plot hole, and this doesn't make sense. And I just think it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Personally, this movie, to me, and this is rare that I'll ever give this because I really traditionally don't believe in perfect anything. This movie is a 10 out of 10 for me. I think coupled with Infinity War, I was blown out of the water. And I told you, I literally didn't stop crying for the last 30 minutes of the movie. I mean, I was in tears. It was a fantastic, fantastic experience. And I think I would have hated myself if I hadn't gotten to see it in theaters, in that large screen format, just getting that full experience.
Yeah. I still stand true that I think Infinity War is superior to Endgame, but let's do more on that later.
Yeah, I want
to
talk about that because you did tell me that right after you came out. That's very interesting, but we will get into that. But first, I was thinking we could do some news. Matt, I got some news.
God, whatever.
I got more news for you.
I actually really enjoy the segment. And sitting across from you, and you get all excited because you think you have new information that everybody already knows.
Because I read the internet, right? And then I'm like, hey, I can't wait to talk about the internet with my pal Matt for a bunch of people to hear us on iTunes
and that's
whatnot.
Your first mistake. We're not friends. I told you before, I'm paid to be here.
Sweaty, you thought we were friends. No.
I got the horses in the back. I've been singing that for days. I'm sorry.
You're the worst person.
So what's your first topic of news?
I really want to talk about the new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, man.
I do too.
It looks fantastic.
As expected.
Now they kind of gave us a lot of information that we haven't gotten in any of the other trailers. And one of which, the big one that everyone's talking about, is Mysterio obviously claiming he's from another dimension, right? Mm-hmm. And him saying, I'm from this world, or we could use someone like you in our world. Now, traditionally speaking, in the comic books, which we tend to stray away from saying that phrase because when it comes to the MCU, we have to start looking at it as its own entity, right? we can't keep holding it to the standards of the comic storylines itself. However, my thought is, I have two lines of thought. One is that you can't stray so far from source material that it becomes unrecognizable. And the other thing is that, to like convex to that, anything can be good with the right writing in the right direction. You've heard me say that a billion times.
Yeah. Yep.
So traditionally speaking, in the comics or in the history of Mysterio, he's a swindler. He's a liar, right? So he makes it appear as if he's a hero. He's causing all of these big illusions, or making people think that he's saving them, when really it's fake, because he wants the fame and the glory.
Yeah, he's probably from like Arizona, and he's like, right. I'm from a different Earth, and then
So there's two schools of thought. One is that obviously he's lying, and then the other is that, well, no, this is somebody from another dimension, and they're not using what he was from the comics. They're going to make him different. I don't think that even a little bit. But I want to know what you think.
I think it's both. I think he's going to really be from an alternate Earth, but he's still going to be a villain.
He's still like a liar.
Yeah, he's playing the part. I think that's the only downfall is, I think a lot of people called the plot almost immediately. They're like, okay, Mysterio's going to pose as the hero, but the whole time he's pulling the strings.
Right.
It'll come out later. But then again, I've been pleasantly surprised many times by Marvel. So maybe it's not that. Maybe it's a little bit that. But I don't know about you. I can't speak on what you or anyone else thought, but I have a pretty good idea that I'm not the only one. So as you're digesting that he says he's from another Earth, then Peter goes ahead and drops the word multiverse. And I think we all just kind of lost our minds just a little bit at that point.
Of course.
Because you're digesting what Mysterio is saying, and then he goes, multiverse, and it solidifies what you're thinking.
We're thinking, because we're fresh off the heels of Into the Spider-Verse, we're thinking that we're going to get to see that in future adaptations. I don't think that that's going to be a focus even a little bit for a while. But that being said, it opens up that door. Or it could just be a fun tease. It could just be a fun like, hey, Marvel acknowledged the multiverse. That doesn't mean that we're going to really get into that action. It was confirmed, however. Miles Morales, while he was teased in the first movie with his uncle, and now, assuming he was not snapped, would have aged up to be the appropriate age of Miles Morales. He will not be in this movie.
Well, I will say that I think the second that they established, at least that we know right now, unless it's all a ruse, that there's a multiverse, I just was like, this is brilliant. This is exactly how they're going to say, this is where the Fantastic Four's been the whole time. This is where the X-Men's been the whole time. And then, in a way, it kind of like blew my mind to think all 22 films we just witnessed.
Right.
That's just on one Earth.
So just while you're on that idea, I just want to share a fan theory about the X-Men that I read that I thought was pretty interesting. I really liked it. And I tend to get into fan theories just because I think there's so many creative people out there, and they're like, hey, here's a way that they could do it, and it kind of makes sense. It'd be great. So the idea was that obviously we have certain characters like Magneto, whose story kind of heavily relies on the fact that he was a young boy in the Holocaust, and that, he was his mutant abilities kind of started to show and got him safe from persecution, and he escaped all that and whatnot. And there's the idea that there's been mutants all along, but a very small number of them. And the X gene that is inside of everyone needed a catalyst to be awoken. Awoken? Whatever. It needed a catalyst to wake up.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah, the Force Awakens. But it needed a catalyst, right? So some mutants that are out there in secret, they've had that catalyst happen to them. But the snap and that massive surge of energy, and it could be any of the snaps, the snap that took half the people away, the snap that brought them back, the snap that destroyed the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, because there was 4, if you think about it.
Right,
there was the first one, there was the blowing up of the stones, there was the one to bring everybody back, and then there was the one to take out Thanos' army.
4 snaps. So it could have been any of those, but that massive surge of energy across the world was that catalyst to bring the mutant gene out of people.
They said that's what ripped the hole in their dimension, too, which I loved. When Fury said the snap ripped a hole in our dimensions. And I was like, that's a really cool aspect to be like, hey, it wasn't like this.
Yeah.
But he changed the course of everything.
I think Far From Home definitely looks good. I have no complaints so far about what I'm seeing. I think that I'm very interested in the suits. I think the black stealth suit from S.H.I.E.L.D. looks bad. It kind of just looks like a ski mask with like night vision goggles on it.
I think it looks cool.
The only reason I say that is because it's like he's had Tony Stark making his suits for him, right? And then S.H.I.E.L.D.'s like, but look what we made you. And it looks like literally it was made out of a ski mask.
I'm curious to see because they show he's clearly still in the Iron Spider at the beginning of the movie.
Beginning, right.
And then he goes back to his old suit.
I think he's going to leave it behind because it's just so fresh off of the back of... Because again, if you remember in the first trailer we got, he wanted to leave the suit completely while he goes to Europe. He didn't want to be Spider-Man while he's in Europe. So... if it is the Aunt May packs his suit, she may have just packed him.
The other one's too heavy because it's iron. Weight limits on the plane, things like that. I am one thing that I will call in advance that I think is a good opportunity is I think at some point, obviously we know Happy's in the movie.
Of course.
I think Peter will come across Pepper and she'll say that Tony has one more thing for you. And I don't know what it is. It'll either be a hologram or I think it would be awesome. Not like a permanent thing, but like if he got another suit and then he put it on and then the second he puts it on, he hears Tony go, "Hey kid, if you're hearing this, I'm dead."
But keep in mind, we know he gets another suit by the end of it. He gets the black and red suit.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm excited. I think that it's going to be good. I don't want to speculate too much on it just because we still have no idea what this movie's going to look like, but
it does make sense, though, that this is the end of the Infinity Saga. Yeah. When they said this is the last one, and then we're all like, what do you mean? It's not Endgame? Now I get it, because it's saying this is the aftermath.
The aftermath,
this is the fallout.
We're dealing with like what happens right
after.
I
like it. So, I dig it.
I think that it's clear, though, that he's looking for, maybe not even looking, but, he's lost any mentor figure he's had.
Yeah, he was Uncle Ben in this iteration.
If he had an actual Uncle Ben in this universe, which they haven't even spoken of, he's gone.
Yep.
Tony Stark then took over. So now, of course, he's looking to Happy. And I love that it seems that Happy is taking more of a role in his life rather than just being the don't call me kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, one, I love Jon Favreau. And B, I just think that I think it speaks to the character that he wouldn't just still be that. Like, Tony just died, and Peter obviously was a big part of that. Or like his life.
You want to talk about like crying and Endgame breaking your heart and all this stuff. Out of all the stuff that happened in the end, not to go off too far, but it has to do with Happy and Jon Favreau. It was the part where he was sitting with his daughter.
Yeah.
And she said, "I just want some cheeseburgers." And it looked like genuine sadness in his face, which I'm sure it was. He's a good actor. But,
I really want to talk about that in a minute.
And I was just like, my favorite parts. That hurt. But the last thing I'll say is, you talked about fan theories.
Right.
Somebody said it would be amazing to see Peter become like a big brother figure to Tony's daughter.
Which I think we will get down the road.
I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I like Tony and Peter.
So somebody said that, we had that really great line in Endgame where he was like, where did you get that? You know that was a gift for mommy, right? And it's like a rescue-esque helmet. And she said, I found it in the garage. He goes, oh, really? Well, it's okay because mommy never buys the things I wear her. We think that, never wears the things I buy her. Mm-hmm. We think that was kind of foreshadowing to not Pepper being rescued, but his daughter ending up being rescue down the line or being like a young Avenger type. Maybe we don't get Iron Lad, but we do get Iron Heart, right? Yeah. So that would be interesting. But moving on from Spider-Man, Batwoman got a promo.
That's Ruby Rose, right?
Yeah, Ruby Rose, Batwoman for the CW show got a promo.
I've got no interest in the show. I think she looks great.
The costume design
looks
fucking
awesome.
On point.
Look, I got no qualms with Ruby Rose. I know she's hit or miss with fans. I love her. I think she's
badass.
Great.
She's awesome.
And she's very attractive. And I think when they put her in the suit, I was like, she looks awesome. Like I had no.
She looks like Cassandra Cain, and I think that. Wait, was that Cassandra Cain?
Yeah.
That was Batwoman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I knew it was crazy.
Now, will I watch the show? No, absolutely.
I will watch the show just to see, because again, there's that turning point. I gave up the CW shows a long time ago, but this is kind of in my head
a different thing.
It's like a new era, kind of, because Arrow's ending, and then this is coming up. Who knows what this could change?
See, and I thought about it too. I was like, should I watch the end of Arrow and all this stuff. And like, I'm just like, no, I don't care.
I will watch at least the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. I just want to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I might go back one day. The first 2 seasons, 3 really, like I said, I loved them so much. They were so good. And then,
yeah, I'd even give it to that 3rd season because I did.
That was the one with Raish. That was great.
Yeah. Watchmen also got a teaser trailer. We were just talking about that. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's
like, yeah.
Like we were saying prior to recording, just maybe I hadn't done enough research. Maybe I was so excited they said it was Watchmen that I thought it was another iteration of the original story. Come to find out, it's a sequel. So when I saw this trailer, I was like, what is going on? I mean, obviously I figured it out. I know the original story, so I was piecing together, okay, this is the aftermath. But as excited, no, because like I was telling you, I love series because they can flesh out stories more.
Right.
Love to see Watchmen in that capacity. Am I still going to watch it and fully expect it to be awesome? 100%.
So I'm pretty excited just for the fact that, like, it is kind of, first of all, it's an HBO show, which just history shows is going to be good in some capacity, right?
Yeah. You probably don't even have to like the source material.
Yeah, like there's going to be merit to it. But the other side of that is we know that it's afterwards. So what it looks like is that it's just between the only things we have in media, like we were talking about earlier. The only comic material we have is Watchmen. I think there was a thing called Before Watchmen, which we won't count. And then there's the Doomsday Clock,
the ever postponed.
There was
Doomsday
Clock.
Clock.
The forever postponed Doomsday Clock. So I think we have 9 out now out of 12. We're waiting on the last 3 issues.
That begs the question: was it being postponed on purpose?
That is an interesting question as to why it was. Did they not want to spoil an ending before the show came out?
Yeah, maybe they were like, "Hey, well, let's run them simultaneous. Like, let's end the series in the books."
So I think the idea is that this is going to deal with after the Watchmen, between the Watchmen book and what happens with Doomsday Clock. Because
that sounds
like
good.
In Doomsday Clock, as you know, we have a new Rorschach, and there's like a whole story behind it. And we want to know, but there's like this gap in our brains, right? Of like, what the fuck happened between when Watchmen ended?
Yeah, and in the trailer, you can clearly say there's like a Rorschach cult or like a Rorschach gang following.
Cult,
I mean, it's clear who they're modeling themselves after, but
yeah. So I'm interested to see it. I'll definitely watch it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or I'll definitely watch it for sure.
Like you said, though, it's HBO, man. 9 times out of 10, they just knock shows out of the park. So I'm sure
I'm finally gonna go back and watch, because this is a little before my time, but. The Wire. I finally just watched. We were watching on Netflix. They have this like documentary series called The 2000s.
Talking about how The Wire was like a huge deal.
Well, they're showcasing like what that decade from the year 2000 to 2010 really meant, right? And part of it was like the best TV, and you're getting like The Sopranos, and you're getting Dexter, and you're getting like a lot of these really important TV shows, and The Wire, of course, was one of them.
Right.
And it just, God, the clips that it was showing was so good. And I've always seen clips that looked so good. And I'm like, all right, I'm watching the fucking Wire. I have to see this show.
Make sure when you're done with that, check out 6 Feet Under and Oz.
That was showcased. Both of those, Oz and 6 Feet Under, were both showcased
shows.
in that.
And this was all prior to Sopranos and all that.
Yeah.
Well, 6 Feet
Not
Under
6
might
Feet
have been
Under.
congruent, like simultaneous.
Yeah.
But Oz was like, to me, Oz is like their OG star show.
They said 6 Feet Under had one of the best like series endings.
It is the best ending to a show I have ever and probably will ever see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The
leave it to my mom, who I bring up all the time because she was the one that told me. She watched the show and she was like, check it out. It's really good.
Really?
And I did. And she was like, this ending, you'll never see a better one. And if you ever watch it, let me know.
For sure, yeah.
It's just very good.
I love Michael C. Hall, and I was a big Dexter
Dwight's
fan.
in it too, from The Office.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, he's not like a huge player, but I mean, it's just funny when you look back at shows that were at this point a long time ago, and you see all these up and comers that were in everything.
That's pretty funny. Endgame. Speaking of Endgame, we're doing our Endgame episode. Disney Plus announced that Endgame will hit their streaming service
day one.
No.
Nope.
Just short of a month after. So it debuts on November 12th is when Disney Plus hits. and then we get Endgame on December 11th.
Oh, I thought they said that and Toy Story 4 would both be on there day one.
No, December 11th.
Wait, so the Blu-ray and everything comes out well before then, though?
I'm sure.
Thank goodness. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
It's gotta come out before then. Brightburn got a Red Band trailer.
Oh, that looks sick.
Did you see the Red Band trailer?
Yeah, but it's so funny because James Gunn's not even the director. He's a producer. And all you ever see, I swear, they're going to have a banner in the middle of the movie that says, from the groundbreaking director of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, James Gunn, right over the film. The poor director's not going to get any credit.
No, it is... that being said, it looks fucked up and it looks amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is we all have come to love this R-rated, gory, realistic, gritty. Yeah, but this is evil version of that. So
but just that seeing the light shattering and her getting the shard of glass in her eye.
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff it's not gory necessarily because there was minimal blood. However, it is that fear-inducing. Can you imagine anything worse? It's that when you see somebody stepping on a tack, stuff like that is so small, but it's fucking terrifying.
It's crazy because this is literally what Batman was describing. He said if that dude ever wanted to just burn down the whole place, who could stop him?
Oh yeah,
and that's what that kid's doing. He's just I'm gonna destroy the world.
So what I was saying earlier, and I was actually talking to my sister, and we were talking about this Brightburn trailer because she had seen it, and my whole thing was, in today's day and age of fair use and parody and whatnot, where the laws allow you to do those things, do you think that as close as this seems to Superman, they had to get some kind of likeness rights or something from Warner Brothers? Because even the symbol that he draws everywhere looks fucking Kryptonian.
Well, the symbol he uses is from an anime. Somebody pointed that out to me. I can't remember which one it is. It's the exact same symbol from an anime.
Really?
But
I'm sure that's not where they got it.
No.
But,
but that's the thing is
do you think that...
I don't think so. I really don't.
How do you make something that clearly parodied or
because
that clearly close?
If he's not wearing red, white, and blue, if he doesn't call himself Superman, if he doesn't have an S on his chest, if his name's not Clark Kent, it's not the same.
I guess. I
have copyrights on those things, not everything similar to it. So.
I just think that's interesting, but I'm excited to see it. I really do want to see the movie.
It's very cool, definitely interesting, and can't wait to see it.
So Marvel is said to announce their entire Phase 4 lineup this summer, either at San Diego Comic-Con or the D23 Expo in Anaheim.
Probably D23.
You think it's really? You don't think it'll be San Diego Comic-Con?
Dude, they're Disney bumpkins.
Yeah, okay.
It's Disney's properties.
Yeah,
of course
it'll
be. I mean, it could be both, but that's probably
maybe we'll get half and half, or we'll get one. They have to do something at San Diego, right? So we're gonna get some, and if I'm not mistaken, that'll come before D23.
Yeah, and this will be the big one too because you got to think. Of course, we'll get some ones that we're expecting, like sequels, like Black Panther 2, maybe even Doctor Strange 2, Scarlet Witch, stuff we know about, but. This will be the point where they drop the new stuff,
right?
Where it's okay, what's next? We know about the Immortals movie, or is it the Eternals?
Yes,
that one?
I was going to say the Immortals.
Yeah, so we know about the Eternals, but what else? So, what's it going to be? Is it Fantastic Four, or what do you think? You think they're just going to stay more? We're only going to do a couple little off ones and more sequels, or are they going to be yo, no, we're doing a brand new franchise. You're going to freak out over this.
No, we're going to get something big. The only way that they can sustain this model is by repeating exactly what they did. And I know that sounds counterintuitive based on all the shit we complain about, but think about it. We need a lot in Phase 4. We need a lot of movies that are very down home, right? Very one-off, not so much big team-up movies.
Yeah.
Because they need to give us those individual superhero movies that I completely am all for.
Oh, they said Nova might be in the works.
But it needs to be, right, so Nova might be in the works, but it needs to be building to something, right? And that's what the whole magic behind the phase, behind the first saga, behind phases 1 through 3 was we had this all building to this pinnacle of Endgame.
Yeah, but I thought they said they were ditching this model. I thought they said we're not doing team-ups anymore.
Oh, fuck them. They're not. You think that they're not going to do... Maybe they won't for Phase 4.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, for Phase 5, Phase 6, it'll hit that... So the next saga we get may be just as long as... It may be another 20-something movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, as we're speaking, Avengers is literally counting the dollars to becoming the highest grossing film ever created.
Oh, yeah.
So, and for
James
them to be
Cameron,
like, we'll never do another Avengers.
James Cameron just put out that post that said it was really sweet. It was he posted a picture of the Titanic sinking, and it showed the Avengers symbol, and it said it took a real iceberg to sink the real Titanic, but it took your movie to sink my Titanic. Congrats, and we wish everybody the best.
Yeah, and then it said the only thing left to topple is James Cameron's other movie.
And it's really great. I think that you'd have to be fucking crazy to think that they're going to abandon the idea of bigger team up movies in the future.
I've said it in episodes past, and I still believe it. This is going to be the crazy phase, the fun one, the more like the Guardians movies.
Yes,
the cosmic
I think this
films.
is going to be a very fun phase. I think we're going to get a lot of new stuff. We're going to get new franchises and new properties, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And that leads me kind of to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because that was said to introduce Beta Ray Bill and Quasar are going to be debuting in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
All I know is if Thor's not in it, don't bother.
Well, he has to be.
I know if Beta Ray Bill's in it, then he has to be. But
no, he has to be in it because he left with the
yeah.
end of
But you know,
Endgame.
they could just be like he's in the first 2 minutes, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go." No, I'm serious. If he's not part of the team, they don't call him the Asgardians of the Galaxy for like at least 20 minutes. Don't.
Well,
bother.
I think that's part of the charm is that we're gonna get. So I would kill to see Beta Ray Bill on screen like that.
You know, his face
awesome.
was in Ragnarok. Like he's on the
yes.
He's on the.
Well, he was going to be introduced during Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And they said that they took it out. They had it filmed and everything, but they said they took it out because they wanted him to be more than just a cameo.
Yeah.
He deserves more. And Quasar's a really cool character as well. So I think that bringing them both in, seeing what we're going to get is going to be, again, on a bigger... We're getting not only bigger, but we're getting more powerful enemies and more powerful allies.
Guys, if you're listening to this too, by the way, just so you know, Beta Ray Bill, just imagine a horse-faced version, and I mean that literally, a horse-faced version of Thor. He is a huge fan favorite. It sounds silly, but like the character is awesome.
He is Thor with a horse head, with a hammer that is like a cross between Stormbreaker and Mjolnir.
And he's also worthy to wield them. That's what makes him so special. He's also worthy enough to wield these weapons.
And he is a big old bitch. And I don't mean like a scaredy bitch. I mean, he is just a dick to everybody. And I love it. He has got attitude for days.
He's got the horses in the back.
That's it. That's it for the show, folks. Thank you so much for coming out.
We'll be here next week. Take care. God bless. We love you, Cleveland.
Oh, my God. I hate you. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be great. But that's all the news I got, man. Let's jump into Endgame. I'm really excited, man. I haven't stopped thinking about this movie. Seriously, for me, it was a perfect Marvel movie, and I want to get into why. So
that's funny because I just think it was very imperfect. It was just very good.
Fuck you.
Sorry. Let's just dive in. Let's see what happens.
So
this is why we work, man. We have differing views on everything.
We have chemistry. I think that what we got was we got a really great from head to toe story. And even the things that some people are calling out that they didn't like, fuck you. I liked all of it. And it's only because, again, what are we complaining about here? Are we complaining about Professor Hulk? You didn't like Professor Hulk? Why?
Well, it's like I said, dude. I've been saying too. They're just trying to give you a decent send-off to this franchise, man. They're not going to explain everything down to a T. They're not going to hold your hand to explain flux capacitors and how time travel works and how the branches of time will reestablish themselves after you return the Infinity Stones. No, they're not going to do that. They don't need to do that. I think a lot of people are nitpicking. I think there are very fair criticisms. I wouldn't say there's really anything too terrible. Overall, like I said, I very much enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good cap to this saga. It had a lot of fan service, like good fan service, obviously. I thought the ending to the actual story itself was great, the way that they sent off the two main characters. Black Widow didn't get a fair send-off, I thought. Like, she's been there since the very beginning, and they were just kind of like, bye. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, it's okay. Infinity War, far superior. I think that was like a damn near perfect movie.
I don't, because again, like now, don't get me wrong, still an incredible movie. And I think from start to finish of Infinity War, you're very gripped. I've seen it now, 30 times where you're just every frame your eyes are glued to the screen, especially when you're seeing like the new nanotech suit and the new you're re-getting Doctor Strange because you haven't seen him in fucking 30 movies.
The Wizard.
Yeah, the Wizard. And a lot of that was great, but it did not make me... I came out of that movie very stunned. I do remember, like, we always make jokes because when we came out of that movie, we didn't talk for like 30 minutes. We were just processing. I did not cry my eyes out the way I did with Endgame. In this movie, whether you're just a big sappy fanboy or not, this movie made you feel something. This movie the whole time made you think, how are they going to fix this? All of these plans, regardless of it in the back of your head, you knew that it was all going to work out somehow. Regardless of that fact, you kept thinking, man, how are they going to fix this? How is this going to work? And while time travel in itself is a tricky concept, and anybody can poke holes in a time travel story, no matter...
Yeah, even they did. They made a joke of it, which I loved, when he said, so you're telling me that Back to the Future was bullshit?
Yeah.
Like, that's how you know. It's like, look, it's fun. Just go with it. Just go with it.
But from the very start of the final battle to the end credits, I cried my eyes out. And let me tell you that seeing... And again,
I went to the bathroom. I actually missed it.
If you guys need me to point this out at this point, fucking spoilers all the way. It's been 2 weeks. We're going to do spoilers.
Oh, whoops.
It is...
Is that still a thing?
Yeah. When you see... What's Captain America? When you see Captain America, how did I forget his name? When you see Captain America put his arm out and Mjolnir flies right into his hand, I screamed like a little girl.
Well, dude, my whole theater applauded and cheered. That was easily probably one of the best parts of the whole movie.
Erupted. And not only that, but he's wielding the hammer. You get the little joke where, he grabs Stormbreaker at one point and Thor's like, no, you get the small one.
Yeah.
But when all the heroes, the Fallen, are coming back through the sling ring portals that the wizards are opening up, and I just started welling up and freaking out like they're back, and Spider-Man gives Tony that big hug, and he's like, I'm so sorry, and he's like, I just blacked out, and you remember I was getting all dusty, and then fucking Captain America holds that hammer and holds that shield, and he finally says, Avengers, assemble, and I just bawling like a baby.
I don't know why. So, yes, I agree with all of that. So, I'm going to go right back to where you started. When Mjolnir went to him, what made it even better was when Thor said, I knew it. So, that made you think the whole time, all the way back to Age of Ultron, when he saw him make Mjolnir nudge.
Right.
And I loved it. He was just like, I knew it. The whole time, I knew you were worthy. I knew you were the best of us. I knew it. I just thought that was great.
The Russo brothers said that he was always able to.
Yeah, but that just sounds like bullshit after the fact. That's whatever.
So weird.
So I love that when he said that. I love the fact that it's like, okay, he's got the hammer. He starts working Thanos, but if you recall, he didn't start using the lightning right away. He was using it just as a melee weapon. When he summoned the lightning, then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like that's when it was real. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. What made it even better is when Thanos still kicked his ass. I'm sorry. Like, I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
He was working him, and then he was like, I'm sick of this. And then he broke the shield, broke him down, kicked the crap out of all of them. I'm fully convinced if they wouldn't have brought them back, he was just going to do it again. He was just going to beat them all again.
It showed us that he truly is formidable. He's not... I think that I was really surprised at the beginning when they found him on that planet.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just cuts his head off and boom. Now, of course, we all knew that wasn't going to be the end of that. But
which was weird. Did you have a whole, it was in the first 15 minutes. But still, as you know that's not going to be the end, you're like, huh?
Well, and I think, again, that Thanos from that timeline, he accomplished what he thought he needed to.
Yeah, he only died because he let them do it.
Right,
yeah.
He let them kill him. So... but it was so unsatisfying, but it wasn't meant to be satisfying, right? So we get the rest of the movie. I think that every moment in it from oh my gosh, Tony getting to speak to his father and have that conversation, and him saying stuff like, I used to think my old man was hard on me. Now I know that he really just cared. And speaking of which, that scene held the very first and only connection to the TV MCU in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Peggy Carter and
when
them
he had Jarvis.
with Jarvis, because that was from Peggy Carter. And I thought that was super interesting because since then there has not been any. But, him getting, and then of course Cap going and seeing Peggy through the blinds and staring at her like Jeffrey Dahmer, it was very, very sweet.
I mean, the movie was fun, dude, because, it was 2 hours of nostalgia. They went through all the original movies.
But it wasn't pointless nostalgia,
No. It was
right?
just fun.
Yeah, it was very fan service nostalgia.
But it did have a purpose. Like, there was a reason they were doing this. And, yes, it just happened to be... I was surprised... I think I was surprised how funny it was overall.
Right.
The movie was hilarious. Like, it really was. There was not really a sense of dread like I thought there would be the whole time until, like, later.
Right, but there still was. So that boggles my mind, just as a writer, somebody who like thrives to give characters what they're able to give characters. How do they have that balance of, we have these really funny moments, right? And we have these really heart-touchingly funny moments, because it doesn't seem like they're forcing comedy. It just shows their human side.
Like America's ass?
Because like America's ass. This is America's ass. When you see Black Widow start to break down and cry at her desk until Captain America walks in, Steve Rogers, you felt that, right? You felt that human, as badass as Black Widow is, she just couldn't help but cry.
I like too how it brought it back to the Winter Soldier throughout this film. If you recall, Cap and Natasha spent that whole movie together.
Right.
So they built a bond that maybe you forget about over the course of a lot of movies, which, it is what it is. But in this one, they like reestablish
how close they are.
Nat was tight with everybody.
Right.
That's what killed me the most after thinking about it. Is like Natasha.
She cared,
Natasha was brought in by Tony. Of course, she was undercover, so Tony knew all about her. She was BFF with Clint. She honestly probably could have led to a love relationship with Steve Rogers. She did love.
I was about to say, what about Banner?
Bruce Banner. So, like, honestly, she was probably one of the most important characters in the whole franchise.
She was. And that's why we felt it when she... And again, I think that people, just like the old Aquaman jokes, we get it. It's funny to shit on Hawkeye, but if you can't see the value of Hawkeye as Clint Barton as a character, then get the fuck out.
Somebody said the best freaking line the other day. They said, I noticed something. Every time Hawkeye is present, they win.
Really?
And if you go back through all the movies, any battle that he's in, Sokovia, the original one, Endgame, every time he's present, they win.
That's funny.
And you're just like, oh shit, he's the missing link.
You know what I'm saying? They're fighting each other to throw themselves off of this cliff. And it's heartbreaking. Before anyone even jumps, it's heartbreaking because you know that they care so much about not only each other but the team, that they're willing to do this, and they're trying to stop each other so that they can take that honor or that sacrifice. But then you have the moments that are really funny. You have the moments like Captain America meeting Captain America and him saying, I can do this all day. Yeah, I know. I get it. Yeah. Or him in the elevator itself.
Doing the famous Winter Soldier
getting
scene.
The call back from the Winter Soldier elevator fight and him just leaning in the ear and saying, Hail Hydra, and walking out with the briefcase, and it's like, holy fuck, man, this is such a well done fan service movie, calling back to all of these crazy movies.
As you'll recall, the Hail Hydra was a huge controversy in comics world recently.
Oh yeah,
that's why I thought it was
hilarious. And I think that was its intention, was to mirror that, Hail Hydra from the comics. That was a big deal, and I think that, gosh, it just made me smile. I was smiling the entire way through this
That's
movie.
funny you said that, because I actually said that to I went with 8 people. We had basically one whole row, and that whole time when they're going back through all the older films and there's all the funny stuff and all that, I consciously caught myself smiling. Like, I was like, this is just great. This is awesome.
Right.
This all has a purpose. It's funny. It's all coming full circle. Like, it just seems like it's relevant. It doesn't seem like just pointless humor. I told some people my favorite part of this whole movie is actually when Thor talks to his mother.
Oh, yeah.
That was unexpected.
Absolutely.
Like, when I say unexpected, it was unexpected that I was going to walk away saying out of all the things that happened in that movie, that was probably my favorite part.
And I loved that Rocket was with him.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
You know what's weird is I thought that they CG'd Rocket into a scene from Thor with Natalie Portman. Did you know they actually got Natalie Portman to come back for that one scene?
See, that's funny too. I was wondering. I was like, did she come back or was that just...
That's what I read. Footage? That could be bullshit because that was literally 2 seconds on screen. She woke up from a nap and stood up. And
all I remember is he goes, "Hey Thor, I got the thing. Let's go."
Yeah, but so that was one of the other things people were saying. Like, okay, well, Steve Rogers had to go put stuff back. How did he get that back into Natalie Portman? Yikes. But the I think
same
that
way you take it out.
Him talking to his mother was incredible. Of course, Tony getting to talk to his father. But again, another lighthearted yet very humanizing moment was Tony getting to talk to his daughter. He had just figured out time travel on accident. He was like, "Oh, let me try this," and it's like time travel successful.
And then he goes, "Holy shit, it works!"
And then his daughter,
that's what he said too.
Yeah, his daughter's like, "Holy shit!" So he has that talk with his daughter, and it's so cute and so humanizing. And you're really starting to feel. Somebody told me they're like, it feels like they just interjected he had a daughter. I'm like, there was a time jump, you ass. Like, what do you mean they interjected it?
No, that actually, to tell you the truth, that's what, to me, gave the movie the most weight. Because it was the scene where they go to Tony
He had
for
more
help.
to lose, right?
Well, and it was this. They went to him with, like, no doubt. They're like, he's going to help. He always helps.
Right.
It's Tony. And he tells them no. And here's what he says. They're like, "Tony, we have to go back. We have to fix this. We have to undo this." And what he says, I realized was going to affect the whole movie. And I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I just knew something was going to happen in some regard to him or his family. But he says, "I can't go back because I gained her throughout the loss. So if I go back and I change that, I will never have her." So Tony made it very clear. He was like...
He said, "I can't lose what I've gained."
And he was like, as much as I want to bring all these people back and change what happened, I won't. Like, that had a huge weight to me. I was just like, that's Tony just being like, no, I will always choose her over half of literal creation.
Right.
And I was just like, damn, that's great. And you agree with him. You're like, of course.
Well, you understand it.
Just and you understand them, too.
I think any parent out there is going to be like, I get that. Because the fear is like, somebody was like, "But I don't get it. If he changes it and his daughter never happened, then it's just like she's never there." And I'm like, not to him.
Well, he'll retain the memories.
That's what I'm saying. That's like in the Arrowverse when Flashpoint happened and John Diggle's daughter became a son, and then he told him, "You had a daughter once, and now it's your son." He still was like, he didn't have any memory, but he still was shook because it's like, what do you mean I just lost? Yeah. Like,
when he said
it happened.
When he said that, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
He's going to do everything in his power to be sure that what played out.
Right.
But I was like, if he loses her, I couldn't even fathom that ending. I was like, if she ends up getting wiped from existence, I don't know what Tony's going to do. Tony might blow up the entire world.
So I will say that I liked the idea of seeing Hulk smash. However, I loved seeing him have that control over the Hulk and being able to do Professor Hulk, at least for the time being.
You liked Barista Hulk?
That's a Barista
Hulk.
I
thought they made him and Thor useless for the most part.
But
the Hulk I've always considered useless. This version of the Hulk is not. Really? I don't care for it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just don't. Like, and I've gotten to the point where, like, even with Ruffalo, everybody's like, "Ruffalo's great. He does it so well." I watch him, I'm like, can he act?
Oh, see, I
disagree. I seriously watch him, and I'm like, it's okay. Like, I mean, it's great. And this version of the Hulk, I'm sorry, it sucked. It was boring as hell.
Really?
I get it. I know who Professor Hulk is, blah, 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 blah.
But it served that purpose because the only person...
What? The fact that he got his ass kicked in Infinity War and didn't even go back for payback?
They set that up the entire time for him to do that initial snap to bring them back. We needed somebody strong enough to take that power.
I get it. But still, you wanted him to go get his what for?
It was all for the purpose of the story, and I get that. Now what I'd like to see, like my Hulk is a savage, brainless smash.
I wanted to see both. Like,
he
could control that, but hey, you can't do everything you want.
And I will admit, I will say it was pretty funny when they went back in time, and he's like, trying to blend in. Yeah, so he's like, I gotta smash, and he just kind of moves the car slightly.
The one part that kind of threw me for a loop, speaking of Hulk and Banner, like that was a great callback when he went looking for Doctor Strange, and obviously with the timeline, Doctor Strange was not he was Doctor Stephen Strange, but he wasn't Doctor Strange, the wizard at that point.
What are you saying? How Tilda Swinton knew that he was going to be Doctor Strange somehow?
Well, no. When he went to the Ancient One, who to me is like all-knowing,
right,
knows everything.
She's great, by the way.
Yeah, and it was great. And then he's like, hey, I'm looking for Doctor Strange. And she's just like, yeah, he's not going to be Doctor Strange for a couple years, which is hilarious because you're just like, yeah, that makes sense. But the fact that he was like, I need the time stone, and she goes, no, because if I give it to you, you're going to ruin all this. And then he just quickly was like, nah, we'll bring it right back and it'll be all good. And she goes, oh, okay. Come on. She didn't know that?
I don't think she... Okay, so one thing I'll say is that somebody was like, well, she said that she thinks that that she was wrong, right? And that there must have been a reason that Stephen Strange gave away. Because you remember he was like, then why did Strange give it to...
See, I forgot about that because that was the reason she gave it up. Is because she said, oh, he gave it to you? Or gave it to him? And he's like, yeah.
Because the idea is that she's all-knowing, but she can't see past her own death, right?
Well, I think she was also saying that Stephen Strange is like the chosen one.
Yeah, he is supposed to be like the best. Well, she even said he's supposed to be the best of us. So, so she was like, oh, he gave it up? Here it is. Like, go.
At first I took it as like, you are an all-knowing being. And he was like, no, we'll bring it right back. And then she's like, oh, that makes sense. But I forgot that she was like, oh, he gave it to him willingly?
There was reason behind it. But I will say, Loki taking the Tesseract and vanishing, we just found our end to the Loki TV show.
Yeah, I felt bad he didn't get more of a something like in the movie. But
really?
Hey, he's had his due. I think he's had his due.
Yeah, we've seen him.
But everybody loves him.
I thought that it was almost kind of annoying, or at least at the time, right? That whole plan crashed, and all of a sudden they didn't have the Tesseract. You know what I mean? Like they had.
No, it just all fell apart. I actually thought that was funny. He was like, "We got a problem."
It all fell apart, but then to me, I was like, "Well, what the fuck?" And then they were like, "Oh, but there was one other time where there were two stones in the same place," and they go back. And it gave us that amazing sequence with Steve getting to see Peggy and him getting to see Tony getting to see his father.
That was one of the parts I had some issues with too because
how
no, it's just like a time thing.
Oh, okay.
It's not. I like the scene. No, I love the scene, but
right.
So, what years did the first Avenger take place? 40s?
Yeah, it had to. World War II, right?
When they went to get the stones, it was the 70s. Correct? Because Howard was there, Hank Pym was there. It was like 1975.
It couldn't have been that far.
I'm pretty sure it was. They said it was like 1970 something.
We will have to fact check that.
Let's just, for the sake of this conversation, let's say it said it was 1975.
Okay, 75.
My issue was Peggy did not look like she was as old as she should be at that point.
Well, that's why I'm saying like we need to fact check that because now Tony, but now the only reason, or not Tony, but Howard Stark, the reason he looked like him is because they just keep bringing the same actor back.
Well, no, he looked correct
except for the first Avenger.
Because Howard was a young man in the first Avenger,
right,
and Peggy was a young woman. Howard looked the correct age in 1975. Peggy did not look that age, unless you're telling me she is just that fine when she ages, which I believe it because...
Yeah, but that would still be... She'd be 50s, you know?
Yes, exactly.
So,
and I didn't think she was... But then again, whatever. It's a movie. I'm not going to nitpick it forever because that's the point where Steve went back to live his life.
Yeah.
As he started from there.
I don't think so.
Well, he had to return the stones.
I think he went back to before he froze.
No. He had to go back to when he returned the stones.
It'd be right after he froze.
He had to go back to where he returned the stones.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he stopped there. I don't think
he has to. It would have to have been the last part that he went to, and then that was it.
He can literally go back in time and get more Pym particles, just like they did.
No, I think he went there.
You think he went right there and was like, I'm 30-year-old Steve Rogers?
Well, yeah, because he wasn't like he was like OG Steve Rogers. He was post-serum Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
So, you're saying he went to like after he became
I think he went to right after he froze. And went back to, hey, Peggy, I'm here.
Nah, I think he went back to what we saw.
Nah, it doesn't make sense.
It makes perfect sense. He had to return the stones.
She would be in her 50s. He went back farther. He returned the stone and then went back more. It was like, all right, this is where I belong. He walked into her house.
I'm calling the Russos.
Call the Russos. I fucking dare you.
I'm calling
Russos. One of the
and they're going to be
problems-
pissed because it's late.
Somebody brought up a really stupid point I thought we could talk about, because obviously Tony went back in time. He lived his life with Peggy, and then he comes back an old man.
That's Steve Rogers, not Tony.
What did I say? I said Tony? Yeah, Steve
so
Rogers goes back in time, returns to Stones, lives life with Peggy. So they're saying that, one, he couldn't show up old because, like they said, once you branch that timeline, it's not the same timeline. So he would have, the only way he could show up as an old man and hand that shield to Sam was if he came from transported from another timeline.
No.
Yeah. Well, no, but going by the logic of the movie, they're right. That is correct. I just don't fucking care. You know what I mean? Like, to me,
I totally thought he just went back to that time, lived his life, and then caught up to them when that happened.
Well, right, but they said that when you go back and alter the past, it doesn't become your past. It won't catch up to what your future was because it becomes your new future. So it branches off. Every time you do this, it branches off another, and that's how we get multiverse in this universe.
Remember when I said they didn't have to hold our hands and explain everything and just go with it?
You were wrong.
No, I was right. Just go with it. It was a great send-off.
No, that's not my problem. What I'm saying is, that's fine. What somebody brought up, though, was that, and this is what I want to debate because I completely disagree. Somebody said that if Steve Rogers goes back in time and lives his life, that means that he either was Captain America back in that time, right? And continued to be Captain America back in the 40s and 50s and 60s until he got old. Or he went back in time and just abandoned being Captain America and lived with Peggy, in which case would make him selfish. And
see, I didn't even question it. I figured he wasn't Captain America.
And they said also he would have left himself frozen in the ice to be Captain America for his to continue the loop.
Not if he went back to 1975 and lived from there, which I'm saying that he did.
I disagree, but
somebody's got to be wrong, and it is gonna be you.
It's great that you're taking that mantle of being fucking wrong.
What if they would have got Clint Eastwood to be old Cap?
Hey, that would have been cool.
Sam,
let's talk about
get off my bench.
Let's talk about that final battle though.
Okay.
So we get a lot of that really cool imagery of the so was it the Chitauri? He brought back the Chitauri, right?
Yeah, it was always his.
Well, right, but that's what the battle was. Yeah. More Chitauri.
Let me throw this in real quick. You were saying you got a little emotionally set off for that whole sequence. There was only 3 moments of the whole movie that kind of got to me, and I'll highlight what they are. Right. But this is one of them, and I don't know why. I think it was just that everything has culminated to this moment type thing. But after Thanos just straight beats this shit out of Captain America, breaks his shield, and you can see he's broken down. He's I'm about to die.
He's got a gash in his arm.
Well, you believe it too. You're they got to come back now because he's going to die.
Right.
There's nothing he can do. And then when you hear Sam say, on your left.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That just hit me so hard, and I felt like something welling up, and I was like, dude, I don't know. It just struck me because maybe it was the way he sold his I'm going to fight until I die despair. And then all of a sudden you could see his relief. He was
that on your left hit me in the chest.
It did.
It really hit me in the chest again because you're seeing these heroes come back. And that's when I began crying because they're all coming back and you're seeing this collage of badass heroes. You're seeing Sam come through. Obviously, we always had War Machine. He's back. And he had a really great new Iron Patriot War Machine armor.
Which didn't do anything. It just looked cool.
Who cares? It looked amazing. I just want to know who built it for him. I don't know if Tony...
Who was the first person we saw? Was it old T'Challa? I think it was T'Challa.
I think it was
the
T'Challa.
First person
who stepped through. Yeah. Who walked through very slantily. He walked through kind of lazily, with his stomach sticking out, and he sauntered through. And he was like, we're back, bitches. And I'm like, yeah.
Bring me the gauntlet.
Wakanda forever, man. I was so excited when that happened. And
when they started doing the battle cry, I was like, yeah.
Again, I started freaking out. So, Thanos was already having trouble, right? And then we get these guys back. So I'm so excited. We got more action with the Iron Spider suit, which I thought was amazing.
I thought of you when that happened.
Yeah, because
you had just mentioned, you're I just wish it did more. And then I remember seeing the movie, and I was like, I can't say anything, but he's going to love it because it was the instant kill mode.
Yeah, he turned on instant kill. I love that.
Yeah, and he's like, I got it. I don't got it. I love when Peter Parker's involved because he gets so much done, and he's just so funny.
Yeah, it was
one of my favorite characters.
It was very funny. I thought that it was awesome. I thought that scene with all of the ladies of the MCU kind of coming together and doing their badass like power strut was really cool.
That's been the back and forth. Like people, they can't help themselves. They're like, "Oh, so forced, blah, stupid feminism, blah 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 blah."
I thought it was great.
I thought it was cool. Let me tell you why. I like all of those characters.
Yes.
This is the last movie.
All right.
They just highlighted all the female characters.
Right.
And they're all badass. And I was like, this is fine.
I hate to say this, but there's one character who was kind of prominently featured in that I just don't give a fuck about. I'm trying really hard to give a fuck. Wasp.
Yeah.
I just can't give a fuck about Wasp.
She's so pretty.
She's
Evangeline
gorgeous,
Lilly.
but I just don't care. How
anticlimactic was it when she came back and then she went up to Scott Lang and he was just like, sup? Like there was no when you last saw them, they were becoming like a happy family with Cassie, and then
at the same time,
hey,
he was kind of in the middle of. I thought for a minute I was like Peter Parker and Tony hugged, and I was like somebody's gonna get a spear right through their chest.
So I'll go ahead and say, when I saw Peter, so in Infinity War, it killed me when Peter faded away. Just like everybody else, I was done. I don't even remember the rest of the movie after that because I was just. I just couldn't take it.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
When he came back, it was like a good, oh my God, he's back. But I was like, they're going to do it again. Something bad's going to happen. And when I saw it was Tony, I was like, please don't show Peter. Please don't show Peter. Please don't show Peter.
Dude.
And then when he came up, I was like, oh God, here it comes.
You know what really hit me? And again, just pushing out tears. I'm sitting in this theater blubbering, and the guy next to me. So I had my sister on one side, and I had this stranger on the other side. And he keeps looking over because I'm sniveling and like audibly trying to hide the fact that I'm crying. And Peter starts like crying, is like, please don't go. And Pepper's just like being the strong one, just being like, it's okay. Hey, come on. Tony, you're gonna be all right soon.
Okay. That was bullshit.
No, it wasn't.
You've even brought that up before. She was always the one that was like, Tony, don't fight.
No,
Tony, don't do this. Tony, don't do that. And then he dies, and she's like, it's all good, bro.
They gave us that early in the movie to where somebody was like, Pepper, you used to always be the one telling Tony not to. And she said, look, I learned a long time ago that trying to get him to not be who he is a mistake. If he dies doing, protecting the world, then that's how he goes. And she admitted that earlier in the movie.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when you get to that point, she's accepted it, and she's battle ready. Like she's all suited up too.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I get being strong, but
but she was
just kind of like, all right, Tony, it's all good. Go ahead and die.
As much as Gwyneth Paltrow may be a crazy person, she is a phenomenal actress, and I thought she did great. Yeah. The funeral scene, though, right after. So Tony, obviously, he gets he steals. Before we get to the funeral, how fucking great was that? That Thanos thought he had, and he snaps. So he stops him.
Hold on. Save that. That's the end. Hold on. There's one thing we glazed over. That's very important.
Could it possibly be an ad read?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We got an ad read. I know it's a weird place to interject it, but we didn't do it earlier. So it's an ad read.
More on this later.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Me and Matt really do hope that you love the Bat in the Hat podcast, but did you know that you can actually get paid just for listening to this podcast? I know it sounds insane, but it's true. We just discovered this free new app called Podcoin, and it literally pays you to listen to podcasts. Here's how it works. You listen to podcasts and you earn Podcoin while you listen. Then you turn that Podcoin in for gift cards at places like Amazon or Starbucks. Or if you're a good human being, you could even donate that Podcoin to charity. The more you listen, the more you earn.
So here's what you do. Download the app right now on iPhone or Android, and I have a special code just for you. Simply use our code, BAT in the Hat, and you'll get 300 Podcoin. Podcoins? Podcoin. Just for signing up. And if you listen to enough of us on there, you can get a cappuccino at Starbucks or maybe even an Amazon gift card on us. So go ahead. Go listen to this podcast or virtually any podcast on Podcoin. Sign up with code BAT in the Hat. I swear, it's going to change the way you listen to your podcast forever.
What a fantastic ad read.
That was good.
That was good.
It didn't feel forced or pre-planned or pre-recorded at all.
I feel very inclined to go use that product.
Yeah, me too. That product was fantastic.
So you were saying before we get to the snap.
Yeah, so, okay. There was a lot of... I don't buy into what all the people were fighting about over Captain Marvel and all that crap. But one of the things is people were like, she cannot be the one to deliver the death blow or like show up and just all of a sudden just destroy everybody and blah, blah, blah. Here was one of the best parts of the movie to me. That chick is strong as hell, and they show it. She is like formidable. She came and destroyed that ship. Awesome. Thanos headbutted her. She didn't even flinch. Awesome. I 100% thought she was going to break his fingers in the gauntlet when she was holding his hand open.
Yeah, me too.
I really thought she's about to snap his fingers. I was like, that's going to be badass.
I'll tell you, when he did headbutt her and she literally didn't flinch, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen.
Here's one of the best parts of the movie. Then she smirked like she was a little cocky.
Yeah.
And when he pulled the Power Stone out of the gauntlet and punched her and like messed her up.
Yeah.
That was incredible. I was like, what?
Some people are saying that they're disappointed because they thought she was going to be the big saving grace of the movie.
No, I thought she was perfectly used.
We talked about she didn't deserve, only because she hasn't. She hasn't been in the MCU this entire time.
I won't even say she doesn't deserve it, but like,
well, no, she hasn't earned it with the audience yet.
Yeah, but did you listen to like? I'm speaking as if like she's a real person, but you get what I'm saying. But like, did you get what she was saying or what they wrote for her? She was almost like Green Lantern. She's like, I don't just watch after y'all.
No, yeah.
And I thought that was great because she was appropriately used. She came back.
She said there's a lot of planets out there dealing with what happened after the snap, and they don't have the Avengers.
And what was the first thing she did when she got to Earth? She took her ass right up there. They killed Thanos. And then she was like, yo, I'm out. Just call me. You might not see me.
Yeah. When she started slicing through that ship like butter
awesome.
And just going right, I was like, holy fuck, she really is like incredible.
Yeah, No, I thought she was perfectly used because I actually like that she makes it very clear. She's like, I'm from Earth, but it's my responsibility to look after more than just Earth.
I hope some of her future movies are different adventures, in different planets and different areas.
I think I got what they were trying to do with her haircut too. Very iconic haircut for Captain Marvel in comics. I thought it looked like shit on Brie Larson.
Really?
Yeah. I don't even know if it was real or a wig. That's how bad it looked.
I thought it looked
She looked absolutely fantastic with the long hair, and I was just like, I wish they'd just let her keep the long hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's just me.
Again, I'm trying really hard to keep all the politics out of it, but the more I see her talk like in the media and the more like she's acting out, it's getting hard for me to really like her. I mean, she's a phenomenal actress and I think she's great and I wish her the best, but it's getting hard for me when people are like calling for recast and everybody's like, well, recast. I'm not behind them, but I'm just one of the. I don't think I care anymore.
Yeah,
I don't care
try
enough
to
about
stay
her.
out of all that too because I do the same thing. If I start like, never mind. I won't say what I was gonna say. But with her, there's a very prominent figure in the MCU that I strongly disagree with his public opinions about things, but it doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
But I try to keep it separate because I'm here for the characters they portray.
Oh, I already know what you're saying.
But
right, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But with her, I get it too because it's just like, I don't know. Let's just stay clear of all that. But I think she's doing herself a disservice because she's at the point where I think she could be easily recast.
I think it's a shame because it's no matter who you are, no matter if you're white, black, male, female, whatever, you can open your mouth too far. You know what I mean? And
and I get the whole like, and the big thing they always do is just like, I'm a celebrity, so this is my platform. I have to speak my mind. Right. I understand. I get it. You have a right to speak your mind, but that doesn't mean, and it doesn't matter if you're one side or the other. That doesn't mean everybody else has to agree. That doesn't mean they have to let you shove it down their throat. That doesn't mean they have to sit there and hear it.
Well, I just think there's a difference between standing up for what you believe and then interjecting it in the very wrong areas. Like I thought at first I was very much with her, and again, I don't mean to get like super political, but I was very much with her. I understood the wage gap, especially in Hollywood, and I understood why they were kind of talking about and bringing up. They were bringing the discussion of what they were trying to change, right? And I got that. And it's getting to the point now where it's alienating not only the audience and your cast members, but alienating the people who want to make a movie with you. So yeah. I understand, keep standing up for what you believe, but if nobody will work with you, you won't have a platform to do so.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So,
that's a good place to leave it. But what you were saying that was badass when Tony did the. Okay, so how cool was it when Doctor Strange said? Because remember, Tony earlier was like,
he holds up.
He goes,
one
dude,
finger.
is this it?
Yeah.
You said we had one shot. Is this it? And he goes, Tony, I can't tell you because if I tell you, it won't happen.
If I tell you, it won't come true.
That was easily a yes.
It's like a birthday wish.
But when he did the one, when he said
holds
this
up
is the one
finger.
I don't know about you.
Oh, that's what I was saying though. So. He stops him from snapping. Yeah. His fingers came together, and when he clamped around his fingers to stop him from snap, I freaked out. I was like, "Holy fuck, what's
going
to
do it again?"
And then he grabs his hand, trying to pull it off, and he yanks his hand right out from Iron Man's, and he snaps. And this time, it audibly snapped.
Yep.
And I was like, and then nothing happened.
With the "I'm inevitable."
And you saw that his nanotech suit had stolen the fucking.
Yeah, because he puts his hand up and you see the stones run
they're
up
crawling into place, and then he snaps. And I'm like, oh my God.
So I don't know about you, but I was debating for a few minutes. I was like, who's it going to be? Is it Cap or is it Tony? Who's going to die? And I'm sitting there and I was like, I wasn't really sure. But when Stephen Strange did the one at the point of that fight,
right,
I knew. I was like, Tony's dead.
Oh, yeah, me too. I think we all did.
I thought he was going to end up getting stabbed again.
You know what's interesting, though? I just want to bring up, your mom was absolutely correct about Captain America.
Yeah, she called that
your mom
literally
called that shit.
The hour after she saw Infinity War. She's like, yeah, he's going to go back and live with Peggy. And
yeah.
Which they finally saw the movie earlier in the week.
Right.
She texts me right after. She goes, what a shitty movie.
What?
She's like, what a crappy end. Mind you, she's seen like all of these movies, and she loves Tony Stark.
Right.
So she's like, this movie sucks. And I was like, is it because Tony died? And she's like, maybe. And I was like, and she's mad too because she goes, and then what about Scarlet Witch? She's been here the whole time. They don't even give her a flower in the pond. And I'm like, that's a good point. I agree with you there too. And we talk about it more and more. It's one of those things like, I think it's like with Game of Thrones too. Like you're not going to please everybody. Tony was just loved. I think my mom was just mad they killed him off.
Right.
But it was a good movie. They liked it. Even my dad was like, yeah, Fat Thor. I didn't like that.
I didn't mind it. Again, I thought that it all served its purpose.
I thought he was going to do an Asgardian workout later in the movie.
Yeah,
and
like
then
he was just going to come back
for the
shredded.
final battle. But they Big Lebowski
I do think there was a part in the movie where I was just like, all right, we still got Fat Thor. Interesting.
Yeah, I was over it. I thought it was hilarious at first, and I was like, all right, get skinny again, cut your hair.
But again, I think it all served a purpose. It's still, to me, a 10 out of 10 movie. I think that I would if I had like that desert island routine, you know, we were talking about that because we were watching The Office, and if I had to pick 5 desert island movies, Infinity War and Endgame would be 2 of those movies.
See, that's crazy. And don't fight me over this.
Right.
I'm gonna give it more like an 8, maybe a 7, and I won't watch it again until it comes out. And Infinity War is way better.
The only reason, and again, that's totally.
And I don't mean that like you're wrong. I'm just like, that's just my
initial
reaction.
To me, that movie meant a lot. Like I felt a lot of that movie,
nice send off,
and I very much felt what the characters were feeling through. You know, not to be like over dramatic, but I understood after all of these 21 movies why we're feeling the way that we're feeling.
Sorry.
I think that I'm just really excited to see where it goes from here. And I didn't think I would. You remember we were talking? I thought after this, do you think we're even going to care? And I do. I fucking care. Like I really want to see
Spider-Man trailer quickly. I was like, oh yeah, I got to see what happens.
I really want to see what happens next. And of course I love Tony Stark and I love that character. And I thought that was an appropriate send off when we got that funeral scene. And we're going through like all of the people who were big in Tony's life, and they're all sectioned off by who they were, obviously.
And we all had to Google who the kid was.
We all had to Google who that kid was, and it's like, that's the kid from Iron Man 3. And it's like,
all like, Adam Warlock? Is that Adam Warlock? Yeah. What was that?
You know, it was cool. And they said it was almost impossible, the idea of getting all of those actors and celebrities and whatnot together for that shot in the same place at the same time. they thought they were going to have to CG a lot of people in because they were going to have to film it at different times. But they said this was such a big deal, and it was kind of the when Marvel calls, you answer. And they went and they had all these people right there at the same time.
So they were all actually there?
They were all actually there.
Oh, wow.
From what
I did think some were CG.
Right, from what the Russo brothers said, it was amazing. They had them all there at the same time. They did the shot.
Well, look at all the set videos all these people are posted now. You know that many times in that final battle, they were all there.
Right.
They all had to be there.
Well, and I feel very grateful that I didn't have any of this movie spoiled for me because it was
me too.
So full of surprises.
Or at least I didn't think I did. Let me tell you this. The day of...
Wait, what?
I had the big finale spoiled for me, and I didn't even know it. I thought it was a joke.
Was that your buddy who said he watched it online?
No. Oh. So I saw this thing, and I just thought it was a complete joke and didn't take it seriously. And then afterwards, I found out it was correct the whole time.
Right.
And it was just a meme that says, I hate spoilers, and it had 3 photos of car spoilers, like as a joke, play on words, and then it says, Tony Stark dies.
Oh my God!
And it didn't even I didn't even consider it being real. I was like, whatever. I looked right past because I thought it was just a joke. I thought they were just throwing it out there to throw you off. Just jerks being like that.
That's shitty though, because you saw it premiere night. Who the fuck made that?
I told you my brain did not well, people had already seen it and stuff like that.
I guess, but who would have seen it before you got you went to the first showing of premiere night?
Well, for a normal audience, but yeah, we were talking about there was fan events.
Hold on, but do you think that some asshole who went to the Hollywood premiere, like Kevin Smith, came out and was like, "I'm gonna make a meme about this"?
Somebody must have. Either that or it was just. I mean, I wouldn't say it was an outlandish guess.
It could have been.
It could have just been a guess.
It could have been though, absolutely.
So that's what I thought. I was like, this is garbage. It's not real.
That's funny.
So it didn't bother me when I saw that it was true because I'd never considered it to be true. What I was going to say a minute ago, I will tell you that I'm the first to acknowledge I have to see a movie twice now to get my real judgment of it.
Okay.
Let me tell you how I feel about Endgame again, like after I see it again, because I bet you when I see it again, I'll be like, okay, it's much better than I think it was.
I will tell you that I may change that 10 out of 10 rating if I see it a second time. And that is because I'm the same way. There's a lot of movies that I either love or hate, and I go and watch it a second time, and I completely change my opinion.
Yeah,
and it's just because you really get to sink in and pick up. You know what's going to happen, so you're not as high tense. And I think if, like Venom, I remember fully enjoying Venom in the theater. And I watched it again like a week and a half ago, and it was fucking garbage.
Yeah, well, see, I just don't... When I watch Venom, I'm not going for, some big deal. I just like to watch it just to watch it, because it's Tom Hardy, and it's Venom, and
you have a little girl crush.
I am a man. I have a man crush.
I'm a man?
So, but what I was going to close with this conversation, at least, is the 3 parts of the films that really got me. I didn't cry for the last half hour or anything like some other bitch I know. But, yeah, I'm talking about you.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding. I did have a friend, he said, I only cried once. He's like, I was surprised, I only cried once. The only problem was it was right after the movie started.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. The 3 parts that got me were Black Widow.
Right.
And I'll tell you, the reason really is I think it was Jeremy Renner. Because he was the obvious choice. You were like, he wants to die. He lost his whole family. They won't kill Scarlett Johansson. But when he's holding her, this part killed me.
Yeah.
But when he's holding her and she's like, let me go. And he just looks at her and he goes, please don't.
Yeah.
And he's saying that as in I've already lost everything. I can't lose you too. And I was like, oh.
Well, and that's what people are saying because as much as, again, I like Hawkeye and I like Jeremy Renner as an actor and Hawkeye as a character, there is a lot of those jokes about him being useless and not being important. And they said that, of course, Nat had to die. Nobody would have felt it as hard if it were Hawkeye.
Yeah, he was the obvious pick.
Yeah, we all felt it when she died. You know what I mean?
Because I really did. I was like, they're not going to kill her. And they announced her movie when they did to throw you also.
Right.
Because they only announced it a month or so before Endgame. They're
right.
Like, oh, yeah, Black Widow
Which
movie.
A lot of people are saying if it's a fucking prequel, people will be pissed.
It has to.
We don't want to see a prequel.
Yeah, but it has to be.
The only thing that they said would be acceptable is if it's like Budapest. Because they keep mentioning...
Exactly.
That being said, and I agree with this, I don't know if it was Kevin Smith or Mark Bernard, and somebody was like, I'd like to see that as part of a larger movie in flashbacks. I don't want that to be a whole movie.
Well, she's dead. So.
I kind of agree. I mean,
they're doing it 4 years too late.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
The hot time to do it was a long time
about
ago.
this movie.
They should have done it shortly after Age of Ultron when they gave you a bit of her origin. But it is what it is. She's dead. It's going to be an origin story. I fully think that they're going to show her when she's getting trained, and then they'll move forward up until like the Budapest, because we all got to know Jeremy Renner will make a cameo, blah, blah, blah.
So I do got to say, though, speaking of the Age of Ultron, where you got some of that origin, I just saw that scene again the other day. Maybe it was last night. I don't remember, but I just saw it again. And it's so off-putting to see her face put on like a tween body. It's just so weird because she has grown woman face.
See, the crazy thing is, too, is like, which I was kind of sad in Endgame, and I know why, but I wanted more Ronin. And when I say Ronin, like not Guardians of the Galaxy Ronin, I mean like the alter ego that
not
Clint
Ronin
takes
the Accuser.
on. But I was hoping, I was like, man, I hope they give us a little bit more. Obviously, you know why he's doing it,
right?
But all they do is they show you in China or Japan one time, and that was it.
I didn't think we needed a whole lot more. But to be honest, I mean, I'm glad that at least when he was being chased by the Chitauri through the tunnel, he pieced them up with that sword rather than turn around with the bow.
Yeah, but he used both. That's when it was sick, is when he was using the bow and the sword, and I was like, oh wow. But that's leading me to my ultimate point here. When he's over there just murdering people, War Machine, Don Cheadle, he's like, yeah, but you know what he's been doing, right? He's been doing some really bad stuff. And then Scarlet Witch says, well, I'm not going to judge him on that.
Right.
And just like he didn't for me. Scarlet Witch was terrible before she became an Avenger. She was awful. like a bad person.
Yeah, but
we lose that in this MCU kind of.
I was going to say, not necessarily in the MCU.
That's what I'm saying.
Historically, yes, she was a villain.
But she even mentions it in earlier films. She's like, I did terrible things, blah, 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 blah. But we lose that, and we're like,
that's the origin story I'd like to see.
That's what I'm talking about.
Her and Quicksilver, I'd like to see more of what happened to that with them. Bring back Quicksilver. Let me see where they came from.
Why did his sister never even mention him a single time since
that is what's fucking nuts,
unreal.
Dude. It's like she fell in love with that android dick, and then all of a sudden she forgot she had a brother who was killed.
Who was easily one of the coolest characters.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you 100% on that.
I didn't even think about it until you just said that. But when Hawkeye goes down to talk with her at the pond, and he's like, I wish there was a way that she would know, talking about Scarlet Witch.
Right.
And she goes, they both do, talking about Vision. Didn't even mention her brother there, who's been years. He's been dead for years.
So. That boggles my mind that he's just like a forgotten character. But
crazy.
So we get the daughter sitting with Happy. We were talking about that a little earlier, and she says, I want cheeseburgers. Obviously, I freaked out. A lot of us freaked out.
That was the gut punch for me.
But it was like, that's what Tony wanted when he came back from the desert. And it was very, very cool. Yeah,
if that would have gone on any longer, if they didn't quickly go to Cap and show that part, I was like, I'm about to lose it. I held my composure pretty well.
That hologram, the I Love You 3000.
Yeah, that's the biggest line of the whole movie.
That was the final. I was just bawling. Just so bad. And it was so beautiful.
How perfect was that, though? It was Tony's voice. Well, Tony was the final act of the film.
Right.
But how perfect was that once everything, the dust had settled, to say, it was his voice just saying, everybody wants a happy ending. And he's the one saying, he's like, but, you don't always get that.
Right.
And then I just thought, I loved his dialogue, his closing statement over the end of the film. I thought it was great. That you find out he was speaking to his daughter in the hologram.
The, what's it called? The scene, regardless of how you felt about all the time travel stuff, which again, I don't think bothered either of us that much. How did you feel about him giving the honor of Captain America to Sam rather than Bucky?
I loved it.
Loved it. Absolutely.
So here's the thing. You could have asked me that if they'd have gave it to Bucky. I'd have said loved it.
Really?
They said if they give it to Sam, loved it.
I don't think
because I like them both.
I don't think I would have been mad if they gave it to Bucky, but it felt so right that it went to Sam.
It felt like he deserved it. So the thing is too is that at least in their films, Bucky I feel like he's still carrying the guilt of everything he did as the Winter Soldier.
Right.
So I think even if he did give him the shield, he'd say, I don't deserve it.
I don't know how you feel about Bucky in this regard, but I feel like since the Winter Soldier, he has been the most underutilized character.
He's pointless.
They've just barely. He's basically a cameo at this point. He barely does anything.
I thought for sure maybe they really could have wrapped him up if they didn't have any more use for him. He could have went back with Steve.
Yeah.
And then just stayed.
Now that leads me to wonder if he's going to have a bigger role in the next phase.
Well, him and Sam have the show.
Right, they are going to have a show.
So they're going to have the buddy cop show, but it's going to be fun to see. To answer your question, I was just so ecstatic that they just answered the question, who's the next Cap?
So do you think he gives up the wings or incorporates red, white, and blue?
Oh, no, he's got to do both.
Yeah, you think?
Got to. Well, plus he does. He's not powered.
He doesn't in the comics, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but he's not powered. So for it to make sense, he doesn't have the serum. He doesn't have any powers. Yeah, for it to make sense, it would at least equal the odds because he can take care of himself with the wings and the guns. I just think it's awesome. I liked him.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
awesome.
Neat. But...
And I was just so happy they answered the question. They didn't leave it up for debate. Who's going to be the next Captain America? They made it very obvious. Sam is going to be the next Captain America.
Yeah, I think it was great. I honestly thought the show was going to be about who was going to...
So did I.
Which one of them. But now we have a definitive answer. So
maybe it'll show... it's going to be hilarious because I can see, Bucky helping him become the new Captain America. Like, Sam's like, I don't know what the hell to do.
What if it's
Bucky's like, I don't know. This is what Steve used to do.
What if it's like a Karate Kid-esque type show?
I hope it's going to be fun.
And Bucky is the Mr. Miyagi to Sam's Ralph Macchio.
Yeah. I think it's going to be great. So who's the MVP of Endgame? That's a poll that I got over 5,500 likes on my response on IGN. It made me a top fan in one comment. I held all the power in my hands. Here was the question of the poll.
Fucking nerd.
It said, who was the MVP of Endgame?
Right.
They said, was it Cap?
You couldn't have done that on our Facebook page. You
I'm not done. Don't interrupt me. It's not Cap. Is it Cap? Is it Iron Man? Is it Thor? Is it Ant-Man? Or is it the Rat that summoned Ant-Man from the quantum realm?
It fucking has to be the Rat, right?
I will do you one better. So the Rat had a hefty lead.
Right.
Until I put in my input. I said it was Noob Master 69 on Fortnite.
Fortnite, yeah.
For pissing off Thor. Because if they didn't have Thor getting fired up, he would have never gone to fight.
Noob Master 69.
So he's the MVP of Avengers Endgame.
That's fucking hilarious. I think that if we're honestly though, if we're thinking of who's the MVP of this movie, it'd have to be Tony, right? Tony did easily. Yeah. Tony easily.
Honorable mention going to Steve Rogers.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention going to Thor.
I'll tell you what, it took a long time for me to fall in love with that character.
Who?
With Steve Rogers.
Oh, I hated him forever.
Yeah,
and then by the end, I loved him.
By the end of this, I really very much appreciate him. So I think that just is a testament to good writing in the Russo brothers' direction. Kevin Feige.
I think it was up through even Civil War. I was like, I do not like Chris Evans as Steve Rogers. It took me forever.
Yeah, 100%. But other than that, man, that's all I really got. How are you feeling about the movie, though?
I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I think I lied. I'll probably go see it again in theaters.
I'm not, only because
I don't pirate stuff. I don't watch things online illegally for free.
Right. I haven't done that since high school. But
I haven't either done that since high school.
I have this really weird shut the fuck up. I have this weird pride about me like that. I'm it's like telling people you're a vegan.
Oh, here comes a funny voice, guys. Ready?
I'm better than everyone else, and it's only because I genuinely now I pay for music and I pay for I have Apple Music and stuff, or Spotify or whatever you're paying for, and I pay to go see movies now. I don't really torrent or pirate stuff.
Which people can listen to us on both of those streaming services.
Seriously,
that's crazy. On Spotify or
iTunes.
iTunes.
Google Play or any of those.
Dude, that's killer.
Yeah.
I actually saved a meme. It says, if you're a vegan and you also don't watch Game of Thrones, which one do you tell people first? And I was just like, that's funny as hell.
What's Game of Thrones?
What's veganism?
Yeah, true. That's fair enough.
Touché, mother.
Yeah, what's meat?
Ew, gross.
No, the reason that I'm not gonna go see Endgame again this weekend is just because Detective Pikachu is out.
Nope.
And I think I'm gonna go see Detective Pikachu on Sunday.
That looks so good. John Wick's coming. I don't know if you're as big of a John Wick fan as me, but
I'm not. I am a really big John Wick fan, but I will not go see this in theaters.
Yeah. Well, you are a loser.
This is the jump the shark,
Mr. I'm a gun fan.
I am a gun fan.
I just think that this is the history.
So to be a gun enthusiast, you have to love any movie where people are getting murdered.
No shit. Duh. That's what makes us killers.
I just think that this one looks. I'm sorry, it looks cheesy. What is it? Do I still not have privileges extended to me? It's like, what do you need? Guns, lots of them. Shut the fuck up. Like,
you do realize that was like a homage to the Matrix.
Whatever. It looks stupid.
Shut your mouth. It doesn't matter what you think.
Fair enough.
At time of recording, it is May the 9th, 2019, year of our Lord. Detective Pikachu comes out this weekend.
Today, actually.
Whatever. John Wick 3 comes out next weekend.
Or tonight, I guess.
Tonight. Whatever. Stop interrupting me. I'll strangle you on the air. Or not on the air. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm done. That's pretty much it.
I love you.
I love you too. All right. Good night, Matt's mom.
Goodbye.